Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to the Bhakti Secret episode number 19. Tirukkolur Penpillai is continuing her divine statements or secrets to Swami Ramanuja. In the last episode, we saw her describing about a personality from the great epic Ramayana called Trijada. Now in today's Rahasya, her narration from Ramayana continues. She is talking about another personality from Ramayana called Mandodari. Now her statement or Rahasya to Swami Ramanuja is, did I say that Lord Rama is the supreme being like Mandodari? Now let's see something about Mandodari first, and then we will go behind the Rahasya, what it implies. Mandodari was the wife of the Lanka king Ravana. Unlike Ravana, she was a good-natured lady and had a stable mind. We see a lot of instances when she chooses to advise Ravana, but Ravana never used to listen to her. It is very common. We see most husbands don't listen to whatever their wives say, and Ravana was no exception here. Now there is one small story in Ramayana itself which highlights the greatness of Mandodari. When Hanuman enters Lanka and he is trying to find Sita, he is hopping from one tree to other and finally manages to reach the private chambers of Ravana. Now that is a night time, and when he sees inside the chambers from the window, he sees a very beautiful lady who is sleeping there. Now her face is filled with peace. It looks so divine that Hanuman mistakes her for Sita. In fact, he starts jumping around that yes, he has found Sita, and he starts making notes of what he would speak to Sita about and how he would approach. So in his joy, he is dancing around and again jumping from pillar to post. After a moment, it strikes him, wait, if it is Sita really, how can she be sleeping here peacefully, and that too in Ravana's private chambers? Sita Mata is someone who is separated from Lord Rama, and she would be in total desperation. She would be in total sad state and not in such a peaceful state. No, so this should not be Sita Mata. That's when the realization strikes him, and it is actually Mandodari who is sleeping in that chambers. So she was so peaceful and so divine natured that it shone on her face, and it was enough for even Hanuman to make that mistake of equating her with Sita. Now this is just like we celebrating prematurely on our successes and joys, only to later realize the folly or the mistake in our thoughts. So such was Mandodari's nature. She used to advise Ravana in many instances. When Ravana actually kidnapped Sita with his lustful intentions, it was Mandodari who counseled him not to fall for Sita. She used to advise him that he had many wives and it was easier for him to satisfy his lust. Sita, she advised, was a virtuous lady. She was the wife of Lord Rama, and there was no point in having lusty desires for Sita. In fact, she went to the extent of saying that it would lead to his downfall. But Ravana was ego and arrogance personified. So all these advice fell in his deaf ears. Now there is one more instance where Mandodari is advising Ravana when the war preparations begin. So at that time she comes and tells him that, look, you are going to face Rama, who is the Lord himself, who has descended on this earth. Ravana again scoffs. He says, who is Ram? He is just a mere ordinary mortal. And is he going to defeat me with his team of monkeys? They are no match for me. At that time again, Mandodari patiently reminds him that it was only a single monkey which burnt the entire Lanka. So if one monkey from the team of Ram had the potential to burn the entire Lanka, imagine the entire army of monkeys coming. So what would be the impact? But again, if Mandodari in her wisdom, she used to advise Ravana, through his ego and arrogance, equally put it at rest, and he never used to listen to those advices. Now then what happened? Then the war of Ramayana happened, and as we know, Lord Rama slayed Ravana. Now when Ravana is breathing his last on the battlefield, all the wives of Ravana come to the battlefield to see him for one last time. All the wives are crying naturally, and Mandodari is no exception. So she is also wailing, and in her wail she lets a shout. She says, Ravana, this was the particular moment which I wanted to avoid. How many times I advised you not to face Lord Rama. He is the Lord, he is the supreme being. All my advice fell in deaf ears, and we are facing this situation. Now hearing this, Lord Rama was taken aback, because he had carefully guarded the secret that he was himself the supreme being who had descended on the earth. He had kept it as a secret, not to be disclosed, and here Mandodari was shouting in the battlefield, disclosing his secret to everybody. What puzzled Lord Rama was another thing about Mandodari, that she was lamenting. Yes, she was aggrieved by the loss of Ravana, but her lament was not from a materialistic sense. She did not think about what would happen to the kingdom or what would happen to the kids. It was not that kind of a lament. Her cries were more from a spiritual nature. What she thought was, we had a golden opportunity to realize Lord Rama when he was here on the earth, and Ravana, due to his ego and arrogance, missed that opportunity. So she kept on talking about Lord Ram at that moment. So instead of lamenting for something materialistic, here she was giving divine discourses to a dead body. Now, would the dead body be capable of listening to all these glories of Lord Ram? So here the point is, Mandodari was well versed in the Shastras as well. So So our Shastras say that when a person is dead, the soul actually wanders that particular place for some time. It is eager to get an association with the same body, but that can never happen. So Mandodari is giving these divine discourses. She is talking about the glories of Lord Ram as much as possible, so that at least the soul of Ravana listens to those glories and attain liberation. Such was the greatness of Mandodari that she had that presence of mind to talk about spirituality even at the moment of grave loss. Now, this is exactly the point which our Tirukkolur Pen Pillai grabs. So, she feels that Mandodari had that mental composure to think about Lord Ram, to talk about Lord Ram, to glorify him even in such a grave situation. Tirukkolur Pen Pillai feels that she doesn't have that capability like Mandodari to think about the Lord always in times of difficulties or in stressful or painful situations. So this is her comparison, her benchmark, that she is not as great as Mandodari, who could maintain her mental composure even in the gravest situations. So here is a message for us as well. Even we undergo painful, stressful situations in life, difficult situations. Yet have we ever thought of maybe coming out of that situation, looking at it in a detached manner, or thinking about divine or doing bhakti? May not be. It may sound difficult, but Mandodari has set a precedence. We can also try this. Everything begins with an effort. So when we are faced with maybe some smaller situations involving stress and pain, can we take some effort? Can we try to come out of the situation, look at it in a detached manner and think about the divine? Slowly, when we start building this, when we start practicing it in a regular manner, we are ready whenever there is a bigger situation which we have to tackle. We can face that with the Lord in our mind. So that's all from the Bhakti Secret episode number 19. Stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next episode. Radhe Krishna. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.